Hi there. I hope you're having a great time in the company of Sony, the BPI, and the amazing speakers that you can look forward to today. I would have loved to join in person, but here I am in a more virtual presence. For the next 8 minutes or so, I'm going to share my thoughts on why we at the Copenhagen Institute for Future Studies believe that it's important to embrace and nurture a prepared mindset, and what we can learn from the games industry. The music industry has, like so many other industries, been through many changes from the very first recording of music back in 1860. So when I say that the music industry is in the middle of some huge tectonic changes, this might feel like you've heard that before. But the audiences, the fans, society as such, the technology surrounding music, as well as the very creation of music itself, is changing faster than ever before. I'll urge you to now switch on your most flexible mindset and embrace the possible futures that we are about to enter. My name is Sofie Hvitved, and I'm a futurist senior advisor and head of media at the Copenhagen Institute for Future Studies, where I spend my time looking into the intersection of tech, media, and society in the future. I've been working together with the BPI innovation team for almost a year now, and I'm really excited to see how they're embracing a futures-oriented mindset. The Copenhagen Institute for Future Studies is an independent, non-profit futures think tank that was founded back in 1969. And essentially what we do at the Institute is to monitor critical trends and uncertainties to enable individuals and organizations to make better decisions about the future by overcoming the entrenched short-termism. One of the most important things to understand when dealing with the future is that it's impossible to predict, and we do not fool ourselves thinking that we can do that. Instead, our goal is to be prepared for the possible futures, to constantly monitor and try to analyze those signals and understand the possible impacts for individuals, industries, and for society as a whole. We don't work with a future as a single possible outcome. The futures cone is a standard tool to conceptualize the idea for many possible futures, some more probable than others, but all are possible. Some are desirable, like the idea that the music industry will go back to what it was 50 or 40 years ago, if any of you are dreaming about that. But preferred futures are full of values and biases, and are often not open towards the actual changes that are happening around us. This is also why we're working with megatrends, because in order to ensure that we move beyond our own worldviews, we use megatrends as a guiding tool. By using megatrends, we have a basic structure for looking at topics from different angles and get a 360 look. Where megatrends meet, new opportunities, new spaces emerge. Some of the characteristics of megatrends is that they're expected to have a continuity and relevance over a period of at least 10 to 15 years, and are hence more about the direction in society than hype-related trends that are more now. This is our current megatrend catalog that you can see, consisting of 15 megatrends. I won't have the time to go through them, but I will just stress the importance of understanding the broader picture outside of your own industry. Megatrends, they rarely play out isolated from other megatrends. And if we zoom in on a little some of these different megatrends, you can see them leading towards new ways of consumption in media, for instance. These megatrends are all pointing, that you see on the screen, are all pointing in the direction of one of the biggest shifts that we are seeing the start of in these years, at least from my point of view. This is a shift that goes from having one piece of art, one musical piece, or one article distributed on a large number of different channels, which is what we're seeing today, where the formats can vary, but all in all, the one piece of music is rather consistent. And even though songs are getting shorter in general, this is nothing compared to what might come next. We're moving into this era of possible endless versions, distributed, personalized for each personal situation and platform. A friend of mine working in the field of media and AI referred to this as going from articles to particles in the field of news media. It will consist of smaller fragments being put together for the particular situation. And will this be the same in the music industry? And how will this affect how communities are being engaged in the music industry? I think many people see this like a very far out sci-fi future, but for me, it's very much within the realm of possible futures. When you look at the megatrends combined with the signals that we see from trends like generative AI and what we have been witnessing in the games industry that has a completely different take to content and fan engagement. Content that is being constantly co-created in collaboration with engaged fans, where content is constantly iterated, updated, and altered in communities and within shared new virtual spaces. So what we essentially try to do at the Institute, and what we encourage you to try, is to try to step away from the near future with incremental thinking, with believing that you know the answers, you know the route, you know the path, where you improve the existing, and having an inside-out look from the music industry, to try instead to ask the questions, to think more radical solutions and invent new ideas, and being inspired by other sectors and industries. With the short amount of time that I have today, I'll just touch upon the two trends that is the title for this event, communities and world building. And I start by going a little bit into the liquid consumer, because I think that the music industry can find inspiration from the games industry in those two areas, since the games industries have had a more user-centric approach to understanding engagement than most other industries. They have understood the audience as liquid consumers. Liquid consumers are generally impatient and disloyal, so there's like a need to find new ways of creating engagement in the digital age. The liquid consumer has an increased demand for tailor-made and seamless solutions, which leads to hyper-personalized and curated experiences based on real-time user data and insights. They also expect to be at the center of interactions and being part of the creation processes, ranging all the way from TikTok music challenges with user-generated videos to using in-game music creation. In a world of endless content and fragmented attention, there is a need for new ways to engage, while of course still paying attention to the very art of music creation itself. Games have been exceptionally good at curating more or less safe spaces for collaborative, adaptive, and immersive musical experiences, where the audiences can influence and play with and co-create musical experience together as communities, and being part of a community. I think the power of community cannot be underestimated. Also, games often come with sophisticated backstories and universes. The music industry could learn from that in weaving deeper narratives into albums, offering fans much more than just songs, but entire universes to dive into. In such a universe, you would be able to build never-ending flexible content instead of keeping the music experience in a constrained length or format, especially when powered by generative AI. So consider storytelling more like world building and create endless experiences. So here's some of the takeaways I'd love for you to take from this very short introduction to some of the possible futures. First of all, cultivate a prepared mindset. Try to embrace radical innovation. Understand consumers as liquid. Understand content as endless. Let the users be part of the co-creation. Cultivate the communities. Create endless worlds of music. And last but not least, experiment, iterate, and repeat. Nobody knows what the future will bring. There will be many different ways that we can dive into these possible futures. But if we're not experimenting, and if we're not embracing these new sort of demands from the users and the new ways that we're seeing in society, we will never learn. And remember, in times of change, the learners will inherit the world, while the knowers will be beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it and will enjoy the rest of the Insight sessions today. Thank you, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.